Welcome to your Journey to Joy podcast. I'm your host, Moyra Gorski, and I'm on a mission to help you find joy in the chaos of life. As a retired nurse, multi-passionate entrepreneur, and mom of 4 adult children, I know what it's like to feel the overwhelm of it all and wonder if and when the joy will show up again. And I've learned it's up to us to go find that joy. On this show, you will hear inspiring stories from those who have overcome all kinds of life challenges, tips on how to stay healthy and vibrant during the ups and downs of life, and simple ways on finding joy in your own life. Let's face it, life is messy, yet when we travel together on this journey, support and encourage each other along the way, that joy starts to show up again. I'm so excited to lead you on this journey of you to find the joyful life that you deserve. Well, welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is your host, Moyra, and I am so glad that you are here listening and coming back and continuing to share this podcast. This is my second season. So this is the Journey to Joy podcast. You can check out the reason behind changing my name. If you haven't listened to that yet, I encourage you to do that. For the last 3 years, I've been podcasting and just made a little shift and changed the name, and still the same message of hope and sharing other people's stories and things that I've gone through in my life to just really help you live your best life and really a life filled with joy. And today, I went for a walk this morning, and I am still wet from being caught in the rain. I don't know if you do this, but I often check the weather app, and it'll say rain showers or snow showers expected to start in 23 minutes. Well, that's what it said for me today. And I thought, the sky's a little dark, but I bet I can get a nice walk in. Well, I did get a nice walk in, but I ended up running home because it really started to pour and it was thundering out there. But before I get myself all dried off, I really wanted to come on here and talk about what I listened to on my walk. I listened to a podcast, which I do a lot. Do you listen to podcasts? I'd love to hear what you listen to. I love to listen to and follow Mel Robbins. I was fortunate enough to hear her at one of my companies, the company that I work with, that I represent, Shackley. I was lucky enough to have her speak at one of our conferences, and I've just been following her for so long. So I often listen to her podcast when I go on walks. And so I was listening this morning, and it was about her tattoo and the tattoo that she has, as well as that her husband Chris has, and the origins of that. And it really wasn't, in the end, it wasn't about the tattoo. It was about the meaning of it and how they came about choosing the phrase. They both have a phrase that they have for their tattoo. And it was a great podcast. So I will link the episode here in the show notes if you want to go and listen to it. I recommend that you do. But again, what she talked about is developing a mantra that we can have that reminds us, that keeps us on track, that keeps us going, that takes away the anxiety and things like that. And with the theme of this podcast always being coming back to joy and finding the joy in our life and knowing that there's going to be chaos and there's going to be all kinds of juggling and things like that, having a mantra, if you choose to tattoo it on your body permanently or not, having a mantra or 2 or 3 really is so helpful. And so I was contemplating as I was listening to the episode, and then I came home because she encouraged us at the end to come up with our mantra and post it on social and tag her because she wants to support us. And I got to thinking, what would that be? And I sat in a little bit of a meditation when I got home, and a couple of things came up for me, and I'm going to stick with this for a little bit and see how it resonates with me today. But I wonder about you, and I want to encourage you to think of a mantra and share it with me and share it on social and tag me and all those wonderful things. But the importance really is to find it for yourself. And what I came up with, there's a couple of things. Now, my daughter found a great bumper sticker, wherever you want to put it, sticker, and gave it to me a couple of weeks ago when she knew that I was changing the name of my podcast, and it says, Choose Joy. And I have that here in my office, and it's sitting here, and I continue to look at that. And that's that has started to be a mantra of mine that really, it resonates with me, and that's really that broader message of this podcast is that there will be all kinds of ups and downs in life, but it's about intentionally choosing joy and intentionally choosing how we're going to show up. And are we going to let those things get us down in life, or are we going to choose to be joyful? And so I love that. That's a mantra that is becoming very important to me. That's in my office. But the two things that came up when when Mel Robbins said, okay, think about what that mantra would be, write it on a Post-it note, and stick it up someplace on your computer, on your mirror. And the two things that came up was trust the process and you've got this. And those are the two things I'm thinking about today, because the way that I find myself sometimes is that I don't trust. I want to know how everything's going to be. And I want to know what's going to happen next. And I want to take control of that. And that isn't always serving me well. And I've learned to trust the process more. And I know that I need to continue to do that. Just some things I've been thinking about recently, about life and about business and about the goals that I have for this year. That's what came up, that I need to trust the process. Because sometimes, can you relate to this? Sometimes when things don't go the way that we want it to, we're like, okay, so what did I do wrong? Like, what am I not doing right? And then we start comparing ourselves to others that are in our life or in our business or in our family. And, oh, well, it must be all my fault, right? I must be doing something wrong. Instead of, hey, listen, we don't have control over everything. What can we do? We can show up. We can do our very best. And we can remind ourselves that we've got this because we're working hard and we're doing the things that feel best for us. And we can trust that process. I've learned that trust is about surrendering. And surrendering isn't about giving up, but it's more about trust. Because when we surrender, we're saying, okay, I'm going to take my hands off the steering wheel. I'm going to say that it's okay that I don't know what's going on ahead of me, but I'm going to trust that the work that I've done, the things that I've done, the way that I'm showing up, that's okay. And that's good enough. And if you believe, which I do believe, that there's a power greater than us that really does set our steps out in front of us and sets that path for us and numbers our steps. And if we can trust that process, then the anxiety goes away. The anxiety of having to know all that, what's going on, goes away. When we wrap ourselves too much up in, we got to know things, we got to know what's happening, we got to know, it zaps the joy out of our life, right? Because we're so consumed with, well, maybe we don't got this. But again, those two things that came up, you've got this, trust the process. Those are my two mantras that I'm going to stick with for at least the next week. I'm going to see how it resonates with me, and I'm going to put them in my car, and I'm going to put them on the mirror in my bathroom. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Be it some type of phrase, or maybe it's one word, maybe it's joy. For me, if you listen to my podcast the last season, I talked about the word of the year, and I often pick a word of the year. And you can do that too. For this year, it's focus for me. And I've got a Post-it note up on my cabinet. I have it on a little, like a goal board that I have in my office. I have focus there. And it's something that I chose this year, and I continue to go back and look at and think about, because what happens to me sometimes, because I just love life and I love to experience things and I'm a perpetual learner, sometimes I get distracted, that I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to try this now, and then I'm going to do this now. And it's all good, right? I believe that it's great that we experience life and do all these things. And yet, I find that if I don't stay focused on what my goals are for the year or for that month or whatever the case is, I'll get distracted. And I'm like, wait a minute, does this serve me? There goes the thunder again. It's thunder, and I'm so glad I made it home before the major storm hits. Again, it's great to experience life and all of these things, but if we have goals and things that we want to accomplish, I am saying to myself, that doesn't serve my purpose and my goal right now, or it does. It doesn't align with what I'm focusing on this year. And that's okay, because that's what I'm choosing this year. And I can say, okay, not for this year. I'm not going to try this. I'm not going to try that, or not going to take a ceramics class that I have to commit to 6 weeks. And even though my girlfriend's doing this really cool ceramics, and I was like, oh, that's cool, but it doesn't align with what I'm doing. I've got lots of other things on the calendar, so I'm not going to do that this year. And so that's something you can do too, is pick just one word as opposed to a phrase. And for me, that's focus. But what I also realized along this journey of life and entrepreneurship, and again, I'm a brand ambassador for Shaklee. I have been helping people live healthier lives and help them navigate their way through supplementation and natural products to choose and things like that for 23 years. And I'm a doer, I'm a manifester and a generator and things like that. And I'm always looking to move forward and move up in rank and build my team and expand my reach and expand my impact. And so I often will put like that next rank I want to get to. If it's coordinator or senior coordinator or key coordinator or master coordinator, I'll often put that as that word or that mantra. And I have to say, truth be told, I have it up on my mirror in my bathroom, and I have it on a little kind of vision board that's right outside the door in my garage. Feng Shui gal who came and evaluated our home said that was a great place to put pictures of travel and things that make me happy. So I have a lot of pictures of my team and travel and things that I'm involved in, but I also have a ribbon that says Master Coordinator, and upstairs in my bathroom, I have one that says Key Coordinator. And I'll be that's good. I'm really, since I listen to this podcast, I'm like, I don't know if that's the best, visual to put, because what does that mean when I look at Key Coordinator? What does that mean when I look at Master Coordinator? It's not about just the rank. It's about who I need to become, what my team needs to look like, how I need to show up, the person that I'll become when I get there. And what's going to help me get there is trusting the process and saying to myself, you've got this, and choose joy instead of bringing myself down that like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough and I'll never get there and things like that. And so I hesitate to take the ribbon down because I really want to continue to focus on that, because that is my big goal, is to continue to increase my impact and just help other people experience wellness and health in their life, and also freedom and flexibility by being an entrepreneur and having their own business and things like that. And that will continue to be my goal. But I believe that as I continue to listen to this podcast with Mel, what I need to really focus on, again, is these other mantras that help to remind me of who I need to be today, who I need to become in order to get to that big goal. Who do I need to become in order to have a Master Coordinator team? It's trusting the process and saying to myself, you got this. You've been doing this for 23 years. You know what you're doing. What you're doing is okay, and it's good enough. And continue to do that because you can trust the process. So that's the message as I wrap this up today is think about when you are going through your day. Maybe just stop right now and spend some time, just 10 minutes sitting quietly and think, what if I were to choose a tattoo, or if I was going to choose to put a mantra on my dashboard or my mirror, what would that be? But not so much like, what do I want to accomplish, but who do I have to be? And what's that reminder that I need to keep telling myself on a daily to remind myself to stay on track to become that person that I want to be? It's powerful. There's some shifts, some little minor shifts and things like that of the way that we think and the things that we put in front of our face. And yet, again, I'm here to say that sometimes, and I'm saying it myself, I'm raising my hand here in my office with my damp clothes on after my walk, is that I'm the person that does that too. And I'm here to just remind you, because I'm reminding myself that, we need those reminders. And so figure out what it is for you. If you listen to the podcast, you'll find out what those phrases are and why one gate is what Chris Robbins, Mel Robbins' husband, has put on his forearm, and what Mel Robbins puts on hers. So again, I'm not saying go get a tattoo, but spend some time figuring out what your mantra will be. And it may change. I know these will change over time. And I know that they'll also stay the same because I'm always going to need to trust that process and surrender to that higher power and surrender that control over, and continue to remind myself that I've got this. And the overall message of this podcast will continue to be, please choose joy. There will be ups and downs in life, and there will be challenges. And you'll set goals and you won't reach them. And you'll set goals and you'll reach them. And there will be struggles. But we can intentionally choose joy. And when we do that, the joy continues to flow in our life. If you feel like it's not there, trust me, it will come back. It will, but we need to be intentional about that. So I can't wait to hear from you and what your mantras are. Share it with me on social. You can find me, Green Gorski, on Instagram. You can find me all over at Moyra Gorski, moyragorski.com. Love to hear from all of you. Thanks for listening. Go make it a great day and go choose joy in your life and live your life to the fullest. Hey there, ready to live a more joyful life? Considering connecting with someone who can help you? If so, I'd like to be that person. I offer a free consultation where we determine where the chaos is in your life and how you can learn to bring more joy each and every day. Visit my website, moyragorski.com, or simply email me, moyra@moyragorski.com, with more joy in the subject line. I look forward to connecting, and I'm here to say there will always be some chaos, which requires a little juggling, but you can find joy and live your life intentionally filled with that joy. Let me help you on your journey to joy. And that's joy, the journey of you.